Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us one more time in the show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 45 years of experience working in the immigration field. And thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions today, please feel free to ask your question to talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, because she has a lot of experience and you want to take advantage of her experience talking about immigration, talking about your case. You can send your question. The answer is absolutely free, and Ms. Wong is going to be happy to answer your question. Ms. Wong, how are you doing today?
I'm very good and thank you.
And here in Atlanta, the weather is a little bit crazy because this morning when you were landing here, it was really cloudy and it was a little scary to fly into Atlanta. But now it's kind of sunny,
Uh-huh.
so it's getting warmer. But talking about this, one of the latest things that we have seen in immigration in the United States of America, Ms. Wong, is that um, a lot of people entered through the southern border just a week ago. I think it was 2,000 people or so. Is this going to be a trigger for decisions in the government?
Already the head of CBP resigned. We don't know if he was actually fired or resigned because the it's immigration is a tough business because anything is a business. It's the entity. How do you let people in? If we don't let them in, it's because we are inhumane. We're not like Europe. America is a big country. We can absorb a lot more. But if we let them in, the boss is fired. So it's a hard place, but really this cannot be sustained because we need immigration changes. The people here, like the TPS people, the DACA people, like El Salvador, we have TPS, we have Hong Kong, we have DAD. So all these people that's here lingering, waiting for something to change. The DACA people, the dreamers, the people who were brought into America when 2 or 3 years old, those people are waiting for change. And people who has been here, their kids are already over 21. Actually, they pay tax their whole life. I have actually people who were gay, who were trans, who went through the operation, and are here because in those days, people like them cannot get green cards because they became a he instead of a she. Now these people are dying. I mean, I just have like 3 or 4 clients who passed away during COVID, waiting for, even though Domo passed, married people now can get married and get green card, but ultimately the people who did the surgery, they don't even have a birth certificate to say they're man or woman. There's a lot of changes that we can make because in the long run, America immigration did not change since the 60s. President Reagan gave amnesty in the 80s, but that's only amnesty. It really applies to a certain segment of the population, not equal opportunity. Actually, President Clinton get adopted in 3 strikes you're one. Marijuana is bad. Now Biden's changing that. Um, Something has to change in the immigration world in spite of, but Mr. Juan Carlos specific promise, all these people coming up, what would you change? It will affect the American public, that and the senators and the congressmen who represent the American public, saying that the southern border is so insecure, we're not going to make anything change until less people come up. But then other
Okay.
people are complaining because now they're saying, but it's inhumane, it's cruel to not let people come. So there's always that debate.
Okay, and that's true. That's very true, Ms. Wong, that a lot of people have questions and concerns about what's going on at the border. But how many people enter through the border? Is it bigger the amount of people that come through the border than the people that come through, let's say, an airport?
Um, At the airport, actually, it's a little bit better because if you were caught at the airport without a passport or something, it's probably an arriving alien. Arriving alien means it's really sort of a legal entry, but at the border, majority would enter as undocumented, so they would never really get the green card, even if they marry an American citizen or if their children become 21. But lately, I also have seen some arriving aliens at the southern border because most of the CBP people there, they're new hires. They're just trying to process the mass of people.
Okay. Well, now we're starting to get some questions. So thank you so much for joining us today with the attorney Margaret W. Wong in the city of Atlanta. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for coming today. The first question we have comes from um this person. Well, I don't have the name of the person here, but how can I get an online visa for an organization to work in a company or state?
Okay, that's a weird question. There's no online application for a working visa. It seemed like he works for a company and the company wants to hire him to work for an American company. That's what we call, if you're Mexican, you can do a TN visa. If you're other from other or Canada, you can get TN. If not, you can do a H1B. So you can do that H1B in February 1st. That's online. So the lottery will come up online. If you get the lottery by April 1st to April 5th, you file the H1B. Maybe that's his question, but it starts on
Yeah,
February
I
1st.
think it's actually saying, how can I get an online visa for your organization to work in your company or state?
Oh, that is so sweet.
So
It's
I
such an
don't.
honor you want to work with us. Right now, we are hiring lawyers and paralegals and stuff, but normally we don't do it online. We're pretty serious in our hiring because we do so many visas, people's passports, and, this is confidential information. So we're pretty serious and we don't do online hiring. And I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Here we have another question that is coming. It says, "Hello, good morning. My name is Natalia. I'm looking for someone to guide me on how to process the residence or if I have a possibility to do it. Is that something that you can help me with?"
It depends what kind. I would love to help you, but right now it's so difficult now to get work permits and green cards and deportation that we try to be selective because it's hard to be a lawyer. You charge money. Of course, we need money. We sell our expertise. And then people say, oh, you take so much money and you don't get me my papers. So it's a hard, organization to work in. I'm trying to be fair. So let me know your situation. I would love to help you if I could, because a lot of people thought, oh, if she'll help me 100%, I'll get it. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't, So, but let me know your situation. I would love to help if I could.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget that the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 45 years of experience working in the immigration field in the city of Cleveland and now in other 8 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina, and of course, Cleveland, Ohio, where the headquarters are. So if you want to call, just need to dial this phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, another question we have here is, um, I am Venezuelan. I used to live in Chile, and now I moved to Spain. In Spain, I was just denied my asylum application, but I have American visa. If I go to the United States, um, would it be a possibility to remain there or to file for asylum?
Now, this is a good question. Right now, the world is becoming so global. You have a lot of people going to Canada. They fail something, they come to America. America is always the destination. Everybody loves America. So in this case, he used to carry a Venezuelan passport. He probably, I don't know if he became Chilean, or he still carries a Venezuelan passport from Chile. Also don't know how long he stayed there, and now he went to Spain. So he failed in Spain, which means that he probably either have Venezuelan passport, Chilean passport. It's a good question. We are not so. For example, he said he has a visa. I presume he has because he have either a Chile passport. If he has a Chile passport, he have ESTA visa. He can stay 90 days, no change, no extension. If you have a Venezuelan passport, he probably have a tourist visa, but Venezuela have no more passports and no more visa unless he had an old one. So it depends on what passport, what visa. People always says, "Oh, Mrs. Wong, how can I stay there?" Legally, and not even technically, legally, if you come as an Esther, you have to leave America within 89 days or 90 days or 87 days. There's no extension, no change. If you came on a tourist visa, you're supposed to leave less than 180 days. You could extend and change, but that's a law. But you have to have a really good reason for extension, the COVID, you had a heart attack or something, right? And I really, but it's not fair, or it's not a good question, because if immigration find it at the airport, you've been asking lawyers, can I stay? I think the question is more, can I win asylum, even though if I fail in Spain asylum? The world is becoming very transparent. So we had filed a lot of Chinese now going to Mexico because it's easy to get Mexican passports, and they can come to America now on a TN visa, which China don't have, and they could come on E visa, which China don't have. And it's very more expensive to go to Canada to get Canadian passports than Mexican passports. So Chinese are starting to do that. But the whole thing about American law and immigration law in America jurisdiction is that the visa allows you to do certain things. If I come to America on a student visa, I have to go to the same school, I have to pay foreign student tuition until I could stay. So according to this person, the question is, whatever visa I come in, could I stay? President Trump and actually Biden kept the same law. You have 90 days to change your mind. Be careful, because I always tell people, when you come in, make sure social media, make sure your cell phone, they don't talk about you want to stay, because they will deny entry. Um, and they will, because right now immigration is getting tougher because too many people are coming up from the southern border. So the question you may ask is, after 90 days, could I change my mind and could I stay? If I want to stay and if I change my mind, how could I stay? That's the right question to ask, not now and say, could I stay? I mean, then we're not supposed to even come on that visa. Immigration sometimes call me at airports, say, hey, Margaret, what are you doing? This guy say you're his lawyer, you're talking about asylum. I'm like, oh, that's not nice. All right. Yeah.
Okay, and that's true. We need to be very careful about what we say when we are at the airport, because we don't want to blame it on someone who is a professional, and we could put some record in their bar association, without a need. So when we go to the airport, we need to be clear. We need to say the truth, because it's like a mother. A mother will ask you if you did something, and you will tell them either the truth or the lie. And if you lie to them, they will know that you are lying, because they already know the answer. So you better be honest when you go to the immigration port. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. We have another question. This question says, I am filing for asylum, and I have not received my fingerprints appointment, but I am still waiting for it. It's already passed 1 year since I filed asylum. I filed for a work permit the first time, and they said that it was not already the 180 days. But now I have a problem. I got arrested because my partner called the police and said that I beat her up, and I was arrested for one night. I paid the bond, and now she removed the charges against me. My question is, when I will file the work permit, should I put that I went to jail, or I should say that I have not, because this doesn't show up in the system?
The question they have and you need to answer is, were you ever cited, arrested, pled guilty to, convicted of, or did any bad acts? You need to underline cited, um, because you paid the bond to get out of jail, and probably you were lucky immigration did not pick you up. So the answer is yes, and say cited, arrested for, but did not plead guilty. You also said that your girlfriend dropped the charges. Normally, dropping the charges is the same as pled guilty or acquitted. Acquitted means that the judge or the jury say you're not guilty. Dismissal means that it could be nolly, that means that they're not bringing any charges, or dismissal means that somehow they brought the charges, the indictment or information, but it was dismissed. So that's different. Vacate means that there was a plea or conviction, but you reopen it and lowered it. So it depends on what the word is. You need to go to court and get a certified judgment entry if the charges were dropped and you were dismissed or something. The certified judgment entry will tell you what happened. My gut is you left jail. ICE did not uh, come and pick you up. There's no hold on you from ICE. So now you're applying for the 765. How do you feel? And say yes on cited and arrested. But then on there say I did not plead guilty or something, or attach, if you plead guilty, attach the certified judgment entry. My gut is you did not plead because ICE would have come and picked you up if you have a guilty plea or something. Unless it's a very, so my gut is like you said, maybe it's dropped, maybe it's dismissed, or maybe you did not plead. And depends on what state you are. There's certain states they will come and pick you up even though you did not plead. They'll give you a high bond. The other states they will just parole you, interview you, and charge 5,000, but you don't have seats. It depends on the state because each ICE, even though it's immigration, is federal law, each state's ICE are a little bit difficult. In Atlanta, ICE used to be really mean. The judges are mean now. The mean judges are sort of gone. ICE Atlanta becoming very nice. I have some cases in Atlanta now with ICE that they let us out, no bond, and also they know, she's a good lady or something. They're not even though they issued the NTA, they have not filed it with the court. So Atlanta ICE is becoming nicer, and thank you, Atlanta.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Well, if you have more questions or you need more information, just please call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong will help you out with your case. And how do we get that certified
Judgment entry.
judgment
Yes.
entry?
You don't have to pay a lawyer. It's better to go to court because people like us, our English is not that good. Just go to court. That's the court that you saw the first judge or the indictment or something, and just say, can I have my certified judgment entry or certified final disposition? They will give it to you. Sometimes, especially on DUI and stuff, sometimes just pay a fine, then you get a copy saying the fine paid. But there should be a certified judgment entry.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. We have another interesting question, but before, I want to remind everybody that Ms. Wong is traveling around the United States of America. Today she's in Atlanta. Tomorrow she will be in Columbus, Ohio. And next week she will be in Nashville, Tennessee. So don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and make your appointment in any of the offices that Ms. Wong has in the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question. Hello, my brother deported last week to Egypt because he has aggravated felony and his case is still pending in the circuit court. All of the families here, mom has citizenship. Can he come back to the United States? How Can mom apply for family-based immigration visa? Thank you.
There are two ways to come back, always parallel track. Non-immigrant, always remember only two ways to come to America: non-immigrant versus immigrant, yin and yang, black and white. Non-immigrant, I presume not. Maybe after 4 or 5 years, if he doesn't have an immigrant visa, apply for a tourist visa on there. They'll have the same question wherever arrested, cited, plead guilty to any criminal record anywhere in the world, say yes in America, attach a certified judgment entry. When you say aggravated felony, there are two types of aggravated felony. One is uh, in the eyes of the criminal court, it is aggravated. So, for example, I possess cocaine with intent to distribute. Um, it's not marijuana because anything under 30 grams of marijuana is it's a exception. Even though it could be a felony, it's exception. It's under the petty. It's under exception, right? So, in fact, we have a case right now like that. But in the eyes of federal criminal, is that equivalent? Because just because it's a crime in Cleveland, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, in that county, doesn't necessarily come the equivalent of an American federal criminal law in accordance with American federal immigration law. That's the first thing you need to do. So don't just come on and say it's aggravated felony, because aggravated felony is not good. Anytime you have a sex crime, a gun crime, um, a drug crime, it's not too good, especially sex with minor. That's a difficult case. Also, it's not fair. You're Egyptian. America always have a problem with Egypt. Um, um, Palestine, not as much as Jordan in olden days, but now Jordan, Pakistan. So it's really not fair. It's just once immigration sees Afghanistan, um, not so much Uzbekistan, but more Afghanistan. So once they see Morocco, I mean, these are countries that I'm so glad Morocco won the football. I mean, Mr.
Yeah.
Juan is a big football person, soccer is football, a soccer person. So I'm glad Morocco won. Morocco is still in. Oh, Morocco lost.
They lost yesterday, but they
Oh.
did really good.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did really
And
good.
my whole office is Morocco, Morocco, because it's like the underdog. Somehow soccer fans are pro
It's the
underdogs.
first African team that make
That's
it
right.
to the semifinals.
That's right. So everybody is that's okay. I'm sorry. I
No,
need to
you're good, you're
focus.
good.
Yeah. So but if you can come back. So after 5 or 6 years, if he cannot come back, apply for tourist visa, you may want a non-immigrant visa waiver. That's okay, because NIV waiver does not need qualifying relative, because but he has water. So the next thing, absolutely have his mother file for him. I don't know if he's married or single. If he's married, it's about 10 years. If it's single, it's about 5 or 6 years. File it at least in 5 or 6 years as hope. But you also said he's doing circuit court. It could be a federal criminal case. It could be a state criminal case. He went to federal court. If you want to, I don't mind looking up for you, but also talk to your own lawyer. Because anytime a case is in circuit court, anytime you lose the case in BIA, you already have a final order. That's very mean of them. Maybe it's a serious criminal record, because already Biden said no deportation. I mean, we try to argue that if there's no criminal record, but you only have one deportation that was never reinstated and it was never executed, they normally don't deport you. So maybe it's a serious criminal record, but it also doesn't hurt to, the circuit court. Really need a very, very good appellate lawyers, because there are types of lawyers. There's a trial lawyer. Trial lawyer, they go to court. We have like really great trial lawyers, but they're not good appellate lawyers. Appellate lawyers are lonely, quiet, silent. They have to keep reading and have staff meetings, people like us. You just have to talk to other lawyers on how to win this case. There's also a lot of non-profits now that does these serious criminal cases. You also need to look at the IJ. Like, for example, Ohio, we have IJs that's denial rate is 95%. So put it on the appeal that say just because this IJ denied, he denies every case anyway. So these are things that appellate work is very different from actual trial work. I presume you had a long case, both on the criminal side, it's already a conviction. I presume you appealed the criminal case, you lost. I don't know if it's jury trial, just a plea, or you didn't even know it's enough. Whatever happened. But the immigration side, If I were you, I would hire and I don't necessarily suggest this in as our firm because you really need the best of the best. These are serious cases. Egypt, aggravated felony. I don't know if you pled to 12C. I don't know if he had a green card to start with. I don't know if you argued to them to 37 H1A. There's a lot of defense. You need a really good appellate lawyer. As I said, appellate lawyers are like, I always tease my people, oh, you didn't go to Harvard, and they laugh, but these are really, they're smart people that you need to handle and everything is in writing. So you don't need a trial lawyer is on the feet. And also they love that energy of the trial. You need someone who sits there and think and read. You don't want someone who goes to nightclubs, get drunk, and in the morning come to court. And that's what most
Yeah.
criminal trial lawyers are, because they're not good appellate lawyers. I can tell, I love the practice of law. I mean, one day I would love to do a seminar on how to be the best lawyers, accountants, taxi drivers, people who just came to America, people that's born here, how to become the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs of the world, and not to become that TPO, that guy who was arrested in Bahamas or something, And you don't
Yeah.
win these the soccer people without the best of the best, the base
Yes,
and
that's
stuff,
true.
Yeah.
That's true. And thank you so much,
No
Ms.
problem.
Wong, for sharing this answer with us. We have a couple more questions today. Don't forget that you can call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Please, ma'am, when petitioning I-730, do I need an affidavit of support?
You don't need H64 on I-130. You need the H64, which is the affidavit of support with only 45. So no, you don't have affidavit of support.
Is the 730 is not the one for asylum? When you receive-
I-130, 730, you don't need affidavit of support.
Okay,
Is it
that's good.
730 or I-130?
Yeah, it's 730.
Okay, 730 absolutely don't. That's an asylum case. You file 730 within 2 years of a final grant. No,
Awesome.
you don't need it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations. If it's the case, and can a Nepalese
you know
apply for
why?
H1B?
The reason why you don't need affidavit support is asylum people you could get on public charge. So when you file for the green card, you could actually yourself get on public charge. If it's a marriage case, the children can get on public charge. Or the spouse could not be on public charge. But in this case, it's 730, so it's asylum. Yes, you don't need
Yeah.
support. No.
That's perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Ms. Wong. And the last question for today is, can a Nepalese apply for H1B work visa from Nepal?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, perfect.
And if it's approved, you will get the visa stamp because Nepal American Embassy is pretty fair.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for today's interview and all of the answers that you have had today. Looking forward to see you again here in Atlanta. But don't forget that we can answer your questions online next week on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. and on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. in the Eastern Time of the United States. But don't forget that you can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The best of the attorneys, the best immigration lawyer, Margaret W. Wong, with over 45 years of experience.
And
Thank you so much.
tomorrow is a big day for Mr. Juan Carlos. His wife is having a baby.
Yeah,
So we have to
tomorrow is
keep
gonna be
them
the
in
day.
our prayers. It will be by C-section, by surgery, but I'm with what kind of good people they are, and God is good. So I'm sure the baby will be healthy, but let's pray for the mother and the
Amen.
child.
Amen.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Ms.
Amen.
Wong.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the phone number that Ms. Wong has is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, attorney Margaret W. Wong. Thank you.